What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a great episode for everyone today, and we have some pretty important news to go over. We have a stress test with the banks today. We also have some pretty big news with the infrastructure deal. At the end of today's video, we have a $21 million trade that we're going to be covering for tomorrow, so make sure you stick around to the end. But like I said, we have a lot of great plays today and some pretty important news. If you guys are new to the show, definitely subscribe as we post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, let's get right into today's episode.
Yeah, for sure. And the SPY's still sitting right around that like 425 resistance, just kind of holding that today, bouncing off of it a few times and really holding its levels up there. So we're looking for a continuation for the SPY tomorrow for another breakout, possibly to all-time highs. The QQQ early on today ran up to all-time highs and then kind of fell off towards the end of the day. We had banks kind of coming back. And like you said, Mike, there is that stress test coming up, and CNBC reports that the Federal Reserve is expected to nix a rule that handcuffed the banks from raising dividends and buying back shares during the pandemic, depending on whether the banks pass the stress test or not. So with those results, it says that the results released after the close of trading today will show whether the 19 U.S. banks have capital levels that can withstand a crisis. And, if they can have that capital and have those levels, this is kind of like what they're talking about, where they'll be allowed then to raise dividends and kind of buy back shares. So it's a pretty big deal if they can pass the stress test. And overall, it's a pretty big thing that people are looking at, because if it shows that the banks aren't going to have enough capital and they're not going to have, they're obviously going to have a tough time going over the next few months or even the next year, like with inflation going up and stuff, then we could see banks start to fall again, and the market will probably fall off with that. That does not mean that the QQQ and the tech stocks will go down, but I would say the SPY and the Dow would probably get hit pretty hard.
All righty. So the stress test results will most likely be out after the video is already recorded. So either way, just keep an eye on bank stocks. These catalysts, I don't want to compare them to an earnings event because they're not the same thing, but in some ways they are, they can move up or down significantly, and it's an after hours catalyst too. So just keep an eye on JP Morgan, Bank of America, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, those types of stocks. But then Tom, I saw that stocks like CAT just exploded today intraday. What's the catalyst with this infrastructure deal?
Yeah, Joe Biden declared today that we have a deal, in quotes, those are his exact words, on a major infrastructure initiative after meeting with a bipartisan group of senators today. And CNBC reports that the sides still need to finalize how they would pay for the plan, as Republicans vowed not to touch their 2017 tax cuts. And Biden says that he will not raise gas tax or electric vehicle user fees. So really, it seems like that they're all in agreement on the bill now, but they just have no way to pay for it, or at least they're not agreed on that part of it yet. So while they do have a deal, they still technically have not agreed on it too much. But it was awesome to see Caterpillar start to come back up today. And, we did see the Dow try to come back up a little bit today. It actually had a pretty good green day after it had that pretty good comeback a couple days ago.
For sure. So let's take a look at CAT intraday. It's classic politics. We get this good news about this deal, but now they just have to figure out a way to pay for it, So, either way, it's nice to see CAT moving the way it is. It's up around 2.6%, which is a pretty big move for a stock like CAT. It's not like we're looking at Tesla. CAT is a relatively slow moving stock. So days like today are pretty big for CAT. And even if I look at the weekly options chain, some of these calls are up 400% on CAT. So either way, it has momentum and some pretty good news to back it. And it pulled back a good amount over the past month or so. So I definitely don't think it's a bad play. It's not my favorite setup in the world right now, but I'll definitely have it on my watch list.
Yeah, and with that dip down there around that support, around that 205 to 208 level, that was a pretty good time to buy the dip on CAT. And, I know a lot of people have been looking to get CAT for the longer term. And if it's pretty good to buy it on this dip, that doesn't mean it can't keep going lower. But if you're going to start averaging in, I think now might be a decent time.
All righty. Well, let's get right into our momentum plays in our member of the day. Today's member of the day is Aquaman. So huge shout out Aquaman. He banked on Tesla today. Looks like he made a little over $1,000 on some Tesla calls, which are awesome to see. I know a lot of people were playing Tesla today to the upside, and it's always great to see Tesla moving like this. One, it obviously helps Tesla stock, but it also helps bring in positive buying momentum across other tech stocks. And I'm just glad to see this type of movement.
Yeah, this Tesla movement's awesome. And it came right up to around that $700 resistance. And I'll be honest, I didn't think Tesla was going to be able to have the type of movement it did over the past 2 days. But, whenever Tesla starts to run, it really starts to break out. And I love how it came up here above a lot of these trend lines and stuff like that. And it hit that $700 resistance like right on the nose. So definitely look for that tomorrow. I think that 700 resistance is going to be pretty close or a pretty good resistance to watch, but it did hit 697.62. So it wasn't like right on 700, but it was close enough.
All righty. And I'm glad you pointed out that $700 resistance level. It's pretty strong. It's just like a technical level, but also a psychological level. Tesla has gotten beaten down quite a bit over the past couple months, but I still think it has room to pop back up. But that $700 level will definitely be pretty strong. But now let's get right into our momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have Redfin to the upside.
Yep. And with Redfin, let's go ahead and make it break up above 63.60 tomorrow.
All right. With the next one, we have Palantir.
PLTR. This one actually has almost a triple top up here, which looks nice, but make it break above the high of day in pre-market at 26.72.
All right. And then with the last one, we have Intel.
Yeah, Intel. This stock actually had a nice recovery day today, looking pretty nice, sitting right around this 1,000 SMA. Make it break up above 56.10.
Sounds good. So we are watching these 3 plays for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they can break above the levels Tom listed. But now let's get right into the $21.4 million options trade for tomorrow. We are looking at the Amazon 3,520 strike calls. I am definitely going to say that the smart money is shorting these calls because they are so far out of the money, and Amazon had a pretty bad day today.
Yeah, Amazon opened the day right around that 35.20 level and really tanked off all the way down to 34.49. And I would see them shorting that too, especially right after these Prime Day numbers came out. It's very weird to see Amazon kind of falling, even though they reported some growth. So it's just strange to see, them going down off of those numbers. And I could definitely see that continuing to move to the downside. And I would think that they were definitely shorting these as well.
All righty. Well, let's get right into our comments from the previous episode. And with the first comment, we have Hunter saying, it's nice to see Palantir moving well, but it could slow down so I don't get called out of my shares. So Hunter sold some covered calls on Palantir, and I love the way it's moving. I forgot what your strike price is. I think it's like, I don't know, somewhere pretty close, but Palantir looks pretty good. And I think it's awesome to see that slow and steady uptrend that we've been seeing lately. Shows a lot of buying activity. They've had some pretty good volume come in too. Overall, I like the setup. I'm trying to think of like these next major resistance levels. I see a pretty big one at like 27.50. Do you see any other ones, Tom?
Yeah, I see a pretty big one up there right around 27.50 also. I think that's going to be the main one to watch for over the next couple of days. Let me go out to the 4-hour chart and see if there's anything a little bit closer. And it seems like that we're just now breaking out above that resistance that we were at around 26. So it seems like we're doing pretty good here with Palantir as long as we can hold up. I think that we might head up towards that 27.50 area tomorrow, if not break that.
All righty. And then with the next comment, we have Rich saying, looks like all these stocks are running and will keep going with such strong momentum. Just glad all those red days I kept adding in, but you guys helped me stay strong and keep at it. Since consecutive red days can be pretty depressing, but we are on the other side. So great comment. And I think it's awesome to see, the people that have the courage to buy in when stocks are getting, if they're tanking, you can say, I'm glad to see them reap the profits now. I know it's really hard to, buy into Palantir when it, goes from $45 all the way down to 25, and then from 20 down to, what was it, lows of like 17. It's hard to buy in, because you might buy the dip at like 23 and it might fall all the way down to 17. But at the end of the day, it's I'm just glad to see it paying off for the people that had the courage to buy in.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just like quoting Warren Buffett, you have to, whenever everybody else is fearful, you need to be buying. And that's the main thing here. And with Palantir, you just almost had to like trust that these growth stocks were going to come back. And, we saw like Kathy Wood buying up the dip and stuff too. So it just showed that there was a lot of strength down there, I think. And especially whenever everybody and the big institutions are starting to buy in.
All righty. And then we have Michael saying, great video as always. Netflix has had a strong couple of days this week. Do you think it will continue to run? And then we also have Nicholas saying, thank you. Would love to hear your thoughts on Netflix. So we have two people asking about Netflix. Let's check it out. It had a good day in general and a great week overall. It sold off a little bit towards the end of the day, as did tech stocks. I like the setup overall, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be up tomorrow. I like it for like maybe a couple weeks swing, but tomorrow is just kind of a coin flip in my opinion. We're seeing a little bit of mixed momentum to end the day today. So I personally think the best way to play this one would be like a call debit spread that expires in like a month or two, or probably even just shares.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way to go. And it's like right in the middle of the range right now. We have lows here around like 483, and we have an upper level around 550. And we're just kind of sitting right between there around the 520 level. So I think it could start to go either way. And with how much momentum we've had the upside this week, just don't be surprised if we see like some consolidation here before we see like a key breakout.
All right. And then we have Tap saying, is it the right time to get into TRCH, or is this thing falling even more? All right. So TRCH, it has had a bad week so far. It's not my favorite setup right now. It fell below that $5 support, and it just looks a little scary right now. Of course, normally like it's volatile and it has potential. Normally we do see some sort of bounce with setups like these, but it's impossible to time that bottom perfectly. They do have a little bit more support right at like $4.70, you can say, which it's at right now. So I don't think it's like the worst setup in the world, but it's definitely not for me.
Yeah, and personally, I think it's kind of on its way down now. It looks like, it was doing very good for like a couple weeks there, and it had all that momentum, and it's just kind of tanking off to the downside now. So I would just look at it more for like a put opportunity, but it is kind of holding this lower like 460-ish support down here, where like it bounced off of a couple times. You could say like right around like 475, and it seems like it's holding that pretty decently. So maybe we'll see a bounce tomorrow after we saw like it kind of consolidate today. I don't know, but it's definitely not the stock for me either.
All right. And then he also asked about our predictions for SNDL. So I'm not sure if you're looking at this for like a day trade or a swing trade or whatever. I like the setup right now. I like the way MJ stocks are moving, but they're really tricky to trade. Like, if we look at the MJ ETF, we can see it's had a pretty good week so far. Other MJ stocks like Tilray, SNDL, CGC, CRON, they've been doing pretty good in general, but they're tricky, like they'll pop up and then they'll just sell off out of nowhere, and it looks like they're going down, and then they'll explode past their, resistance level, and then they're just really tricky to trade. So either way, I do like the setup, but just understand it's a little bit risky, given one that it's a penny stock, but also it's an MJ stock.
Yeah, true. It is a penny stock, so keep that in mind. And I think that the best way to go is just to either get shares or sell some puts, or possibly like get leaps for the longer run. I think that that's the best way to go with these MJ stocks, because if you just hold them for a long time, you can generally catch like a big run eventually. And that's the way to go with these, is to kind of just hold them and buy them low, and just kind of like wait for those runs on that news that we see like around election time and stuff like that. So that's what I would look for, is news like maybe around like the next election or something like that.
Alrighty, so I just want to say thank you to everyone who leaves these comments. Comments really help grow our channel, so I just want to, just give an extra thank you to everyone who's leaving comments. We always have Slick, Whitney, Jeff. There's so many people leaving comments. Brian, Carlos. Thank you so much to everyone who's commenting. I know I missed a ton of people, but really, it really helped us out. And really, we really appreciate comments and, likes on the video. But Tom, do you have any like last minute stocks, options, or anything you're watching to end the week?
Yeah, to end the week, I'm still watching Boeing. Boeing had a great recovery day today, up 2.8%. Whenever we look at it on the daily, it looks like it's really starting to get some more momentum back to the upside here. I'm starting to really like it. Earlier in the week, it almost looked like it might have still, been in like that downward type of trend, but it looks like it is starting to catch that movement to the upside. And I think that we could start to see a pretty good recovery here, especially with the type of strong close that we saw today. And it's like starting to run up in after hours. And I just think that Boeing looks like a pretty good stock for recovery, possibly over like the next month, a couple months.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you want to trade with Tom and I and our bots every single day, you can click the first link in the description down below. The bot calls out daily options, day trades, swing trades. We have order flow bots. The swings have been great so far. Of course, not every single play is going to work every single time, but overall, it's been really hot and it's just been doing really great. So like I said, it's that first link in the description down below. We do have a $40 off coupon running right now. We are going to end it sometime soon. But yeah, definitely check it out. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and come join Tom and I live every single morning at Market Open on the Stocked Up live channel. The link for that is in the description down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.